So, what is resonance, and what would be the benefit of resonance in the electrical circuits? And also, resonance is very important concept that we learn even in the communication field, like in antenna design, and wherever you go, this resonance, comes into a very important aspect. Okay. So therefore, let us learn what is resonance. Normally, resonance occurs when we have an RLC circuit. Okay, resonance comes into picture when we normally have an RLC circuit. Okay, so when we have RLC circuit where normally you can see RLC, R is nothing but resistance, L is inductance, and C is capacitance. When you see these three components R, L, and C are in series. So we can also have these three components even in parallel also. So we can have either in series or parallel. So we do get resonance when we interconnect these three components. So the curve of the resonance would be in this way, and this curve would be for a series resonance, where x-axis will always be a frequency and y-axis will always be the particular current what we take. Okay, so current, when we measure the current, is what y-axis that we take. So here we see that this would be the curve that we get for series resonance. This is for series resonance. Now why do we get this curve here is, for low frequency, like this mid part what we get, where the current peak, maximum current peak that we get, is normally called as Im. So this is the peak value of current what we get, which is Im. Okay, so if I still increase the current like this, okay, so this is Im value, whereas at the frequency at which this maximum peak current is obtained would be at resonant frequency. Okay, the maximum peak would be obtained at resonance frequency. Now at frequency less than Fr, okay, at frequencies less than Fr, where a frequencies which is less than the resonant frequency, we see that the reactance of the capacitance will be very much greater than the reactance of the inductance. So for that, you see a leading curve that we get. This is called as leading curve, where you see current increases. When Xc is greater than XL, the current increases. Now as soon as the Fr is been reached, at that resonant frequency we can see a maximum peak, current peak is obtained. Now after this resonant frequency, where frequency where this F frequency being greater than Fr, where this F frequency being greater than Fr, where in this frequency range the reactance of the inductance will become greater than the reactance of the capacitance. Okay, so after Fr, means as frequency increases, and if the operating frequency is greater than the resonant frequency, we see that the reactance of the inductance becomes greater than the reactance of the capacitance. During this, we see a lagging waveform of the current. It means the current starts decreasing after frequency increases greater than the resonant frequency Fr. So this would be the curve that we get for a series resonance circuits. Okay, when we see R, L, and C are connected in series, that is R, L, and C, when they are connected in series, where a voltage E is applied for that. So this is the E voltage where R, L, and C are connected in series, and if I measure the current here, the current is what this curve we get when we measure a current in the circuit. Okay, so this curve is obtained due to the reactance of the capacitance and the reactance of the inductance. At resonance, we see that the reactance of the inductance will be equal to reactance of the capacitance. At resonance, the reactance of the inductance will be equal to the reactance of the capacitance. Okay, so therefore, if I try to derive an equation for the resonant frequency, so let me derive the equation for resonant frequency for the series circuit. So if I derive, so let me put an heading as derivation of resonant frequency for series circuit, for series RLC circuit. So what would be the derivation for that? So let us see that now. So as I said you, in series circuit, when I write the total impedance of the series circuit, okay, so series circuit is this, total impedance of the series circuit is R plus J XL minus J into XC. This is the reactance of the inductance and this is reactance across the capacitance what we consider, and we normally write the summation of all three because all three are in series. So summation of all these three would be equal to the total impedance Z, where I can say Z is now equal to R plus J into XL minus XC, R plus JL minus J into XL minus XC. At resonance, the impedance Z would be equal to purely resistive R. The reason is XL is equal to XC. At resonance we see that XL is equal to XC. So therefore when at resonance XL is equal to XC, now if I write XL in terms of frequency, we all know that XL is nothing but omega L equals 1 over XC is omega C, right? XL would be equal to omega L, whereas XC is equal to 1 over omega C. Therefore, I can easily say that omega square equals 1 over LC. Omega square equals 1 over LC. So therefore, omega would be equal to 1 over 2 pi, omega would be equal to 1 over root of LC. Omega equals 1 over 2 root of LC. I can easily say that this omega is now omega R because it is at resonance which we are measuring this omega. Therefore, this becomes omega R. So I can write omega R as 2 pi FR, which is equal to 1 over root of LC. Therefore, FR would be equal to 1 over 2 pi root LC. This is the expression or equation for the resonant frequency of a series RLC circuit. Now we have derived the resonant frequency for a series RLC circuit. Now we'll see the quality factor. Now let us see what is the quality factor for the series resonant. So let us now see the derivation for quality factor of the series resonance. There is some technical issues here. Okay. So quality factor for the series resonant. So we will denote the quality factor normally as Q is the denotation that we normally use for quality factor. Some symbol used to denote the quality factor. We know that at resonance, we know that the maximum peak current IM, normally what the current I would be in series RLC circuit, the current I would be equal to total voltage by total impedance, right? Where I would be equal to total voltage by total impedance is R plus J into XL minus XC. So this is the normal current equation that we write, not at resonance. This is the normal current equation that we write. Now what we see at resonance. So at resonance we know that XL is equal to XC, therefore I would be equal to IM now, which is maximum peak value of the current that we get at resonance. I would be equal to Im now, where I would be equal to Im now, where the value of Im is now equal to E by R, because we know that XL is equal to XC. Because we know that XL is equal to XC, therefore Im would be equal to E by R. Now, if I take voltage across the inductance, the voltage across the inductance, the voltage across the inductance L, then that would be equal to VL is equal to, that would be equal to VL is equal to total current Im multiplied by the reactance of the inductor. Im into XL is normally VL. Now what is Im? Im at resonance it is E by R. Therefore E into XL divided by R is what the voltage across the inductance that we get. So this would be equal to E by R omega R into L, because XL is omega R into L, right? XL is equal to omega R into L. Therefore I would say the XLR by R into E is what the equation which I can write this as. Therefore VL would be equal to the quality factor into E, where the quality factor is nothing but omega R L by R. This is the quality factor when I consider the inductance. So when I consider the inductance, this would be the quality factor that I get in terms of inductance that we take. Now in terms of the capacitance, if we take, we know that the voltage across C is, the voltage across the capacitor C is, Vc would be equal to, again, current Im multiplied by Xc. Vc is equal to current Im multiplied by Xc, which is again equal to E by R into, what is Xc? 1 over omega Rc. This omega R is written because it is at resonance we are trying to consider. Therefore, this would be equal to E divided by omega RCR, and this is actually quality factor into E. Now in terms of capacitor, if we take, the quality factor is now equal to 1 over omega RCR. So this is the quality factor in terms of the capacitor that we take. That would be the quality factor in terms of capacitor that we take. Now, so let me put a box for this. Now we know that the quality factor is equal to omega R L by R in terms of inductor that we took. So this omega R, I'll write this as 2 pi FR L by R, 2 pi FR L by R. Then we know that the FR derivation that we have derived earlier, I will say 1 over 2 pi into root LC is the FR, resonant frequency derivation, into L, whole thing divided by R. So now, which is equal to 1 by R. So this 2 pi and 2 pi gets cancelled. So 1 by R into L by root of LC. Therefore, this is equal to 1 over R. So L, I can write this as root L into root L. So L can be written as root L into root L. Therefore, root LC can be written as root L into root C. So this root L gets cancelled. So therefore, finally, the quality factor is now equal to 1 by R square root of L by C. This is the actual derivation of quality factor. This is the main derivation of quality factor which we have got. Okay, so I hope now you all are clear with what is the quality factor of a resonant circuit, or what would be the quality factor of a series resonant circuit, RLC circuit. Okay, now we'll see what is selectivity and what would be the bandwidth. Okay, we'll now see the selectivity and bandwidth. So for that we again go for writing the curve here. So let me write the curve. So this was the curve earlier which I have written. This is F and this is I which we have. So this is what the peak value of I, and the frequency at which we got peak value is FR. So this would be the IM. Now to get the bandwidth, to obtain the bandwidth, we normally try to take minus 3 dB of the current peak that we have got. So we go down with minus 3 dB. So this is minus 3 dB, which is normally dividing by root 2. When you divide Im by root 2, this is what the curve that it meets with the Im by root 2 value, where we normally take two frequencies at this curve. So see, this line meets 2 points. One is at the leading curve and the other point is at the lagging curve. So we normally take the 2 points and we mark the two frequencies as F1 and F2. These are the two frequencies but that we have, where F1 and F2 are normally called as half power frequencies. Half power frequencies. I'll tell you why it is half power frequencies. We call it as cutoff frequencies. Cutoff frequencies. And we also call it as band frequencies. So there are three names given to this: half power frequencies, cutoff frequencies, and band frequencies. Now, why normally these 2 points of these two frequencies are called as half power frequencies? Because so at maximum peak of Im, we calculate the power Pm to be equal to, we know that P equals I square into R. So therefore the power at that maximum peak would be Im square into R. Normally power is being calculated by I into R, I square into R, or V into I, or V square by R. These are the formulas which we normally use to find out the power. Therefore we know that Pm equals Im square by R. So at half power frequencies, okay, at this frequencies F1 and F2, at these frequencies F1 and F2, the current Im is actually Im by root 2. The current Im is actually Im by root 2. Therefore Pm would be equal to, therefore the power at that particular now it is not Pm, the power at that particular half power frequencies, at that frequencies F1 and F2, where we took minus 3 dB line we have done. So at that particular point power would be equal to now Im by root 2 the whole square into R. Im by root 2 the whole square into R, which would be equal to Im square R by 2. So this power P would now be equal to Pm by 2. So the power at that particular point is half of the maximum power. Okay, the power at that particular frequencies F1 and F2 would now be equal to half of the maximum power that we get. Therefore that is the reason these two frequencies can also be called as half power frequencies. or it is also called as cutoff frequencies or band frequencies. Now, with these two frequencies F1 and F2, we can say that the bandwidth would be equal to, bandwidth is equal to F2 minus F1. The bandwidth is now equal to F2 minus F1. You take frequency F2 and you subtract that with F1, you get a bandwidth, and selectivity is equal to resonant frequency divided by the bandwidth, so which is equal to resonant frequency divided by F2 minus F1. F2 minus F1. So this is what the bandwidth and the selectivity that we normally consider in any resonant circuit. Okay, normally we consider this two parameters in not only these two parameters, we also go with the quality factor, bandwidth, selectivity, all these things we normally come across with this particular resonant circuit. Okay, anyway, the formulas that we use is this. So this is very important. You all need to remember if you are solving any problem regarding resonance. Okay, now let us derive the expression for cutoff frequencies. So let us derive the expressions for cutoff frequencies. So the first expression that we are going to derive is for F1. Expression for F1. Okay. Now normally the curve I have already written earlier, so I'll just rewrite it with all sort of terminologies. So this is Im, this is Im by root 2, these frequencies are, this is F1, F2, Fr, therefore this is frequency F. Now here Xc was greater than XL at this point. Now here XL is greater than Xc. At resonance we see Xc is equal to XL. So all these things we have written now. Now here, so normally when you write the expression for F1 and F2, you see through that, you write this curve and then start deriving the expression. So at F1 and F2, the current is, we know that the current is Im by root 2. We know that the current is Im by root 2. So here we know that at resonance Z is equal to R. We know that at resonance Z is equal to root R. Therefore at F1 and F2 Z will now be equal to square root of 2 times R. At F1 and F2 Z will now be equal to square root of 2 times R, because it is Im by root 2. When I take Z, then this becomes root 2 times R. Okay, so that is what we need to know here. Now Z is also equal to R plus J into XL minus XC. So when we find numerically, when we try to find out what is Z, we normally go with the magnitude of this particular equation, R square XL minus XC the whole square. R square plus XL minus XC the whole square, square root of R square plus XL minus XC the whole square. Therefore at f1 and f2, this z, so let me take z equals root 2 r as 1, this as 2, therefore at f1 and f2, 1 will be equal to 2. That means root 2 times r would be equal to root of r square plus xl minus xc the whole square. So this is the normal equation, but when I take only at f1, we see in the curve at f1, if you see xc, reactance of the capacitance is greater than the reactance of the inductance. So we know that the reactance of the capacitance is greater than reactance of the inductance. Therefore this, let me take this as third equation, then expression 3 becomes what? Square root of 2 times r equals square root of r square plus xc minus xl the whole square. So you get xc minus xl the whole square. So therefore now if I put the square root to the left hand side, then it is root 2r the whole square would be 2r square equals r square plus xc minus xl the whole square. So 2r square minus r square would now be equal to r square equals xc minus xl the whole square. Therefore r would now be equal to xc minus xl. So this is the condition that we get for frequency f1. At frequency f1 we get this condition, r equals xc minus xl. Now if I substitute for xc and xl, so now r would be equal to 1 over omega 1, because we are trying to derive it for at f1, omega 1 c minus omega 1 l, omega 1 c minus omega 1 l. Therefore r equals 1 minus omega 1 square lc divided by omega 1 c. Therefore r into omega 1 c equals 1 minus omega 1 square lc. Therefore omega 1 square lc plus r omega 1 c minus 1 equals 0. This is what we get. So this is what we get. Now if I take this, I'll write in a proper manner. Omega square 1 lc rc omega 1. So minus 1 equals 0. So this is ax square plus bx plus c equals 0. It is in the format of quadratic equation, ax square plus bx plus c equals 0. It is in this form, and we know the solution for this form is minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. This is the formula which we use to find out the roots x1 comma 2. So in a similar way we will try to find out the root for this. So in the place of a we see lc is there, and in the place of b we see rc is there, and in the place of c we have minus 1. Therefore omega 1 would be equal to minus b, which is minus rc, plus or minus root of b square is r square c square minus 4 into a into c. So minus of minus 1 is plus 4 lc, the whole thing divided by 2 times a, which is 2 into lc. 2 into lc. So in this equation what I do is I will try to take lc common, or root of l square c square common, minus 4 rc plus or minus root of if I take root of lc common, then root of l square c square common, then I would be getting root of r square by l square plus 4 divided by lc. divided by 2 times LC. So this LC and root of L square C square would get cancelled. So finally I will be left out with omega 1 equals minus R, sorry, it doesn't cancel, you need to separate this term. So I'll just separate and I'll write this. So it is minus RC by 2LC and this divided by 2LC. This and this will get cancelled. So it is minus R by 2L minus R by 2L. CC gets cancelled. Plus or minus square root of R square by L square plus 4 by LC, whole thing divided by 2. So if I take root 4 common, so this would be minus R by 2L plus or minus. If I take root 4 common outside, then I will be getting root of R by R square by 4L square plus 1 over LC divided by 2. Now 2 and root 4 can get cancelled. Therefore omega 1 would be equal to minus R by 2L plus or minus square root of R by 2L the whole square plus 1 over LC. So this would be the equation for omega 1. Therefore, as we need omega 1, as we know, omega 1 is always positive. Frequency should always be positive. Always positive. Therefore, omega 1 is considered as minus R by 2L plus, no, minus will be neglected, plus square root of R by 2L the whole square plus 1 over LC. So this is the expression for omega 1. So now if I want F1, you are just putting this omega 1 as 2 pi F1. So I'll just erase here itself. So I'll just say this is 2 pi F1, 2 pi F1. Now F1 would be equal to, this 2 pi will divide with this. Therefore F1 would now be equal to 1 over 2 pi multiplied by this whole thing. This is the cutoff frequency F1. This is the cutoff frequency F1. Now if I want to try to derive F2, so at F2, we know that XL is greater than XC. XL is greater than XC. Therefore, R will be equal to, therefore now R will now be equal to XL minus XC. Earlier it was XC minus XL. Now it is XL minus XC. Therefore, R would now be equal to omega 2 times L minus 1 by omega 2 C. Omega 2 because we are deriving at F2. Okay. So therefore, what do we get? We get R equals omega 2 square L C minus 1 divided by omega 2 C. Therefore, omega 2 square LC minus 1 equals R into omega 2 C. Therefore, omega 2 square LC minus omega 2 into RC minus 1 equals 0. So here again we got a quadratic equation in terms of omega. Therefore, you try to find out the roots for this like how we did for omega 1. Finally, we will end up in getting omega 2 would be equal to, omega 2 would be equal to R by 2L, like how we did earlier. We try to derive in the same way. I'm just writing the direct root for this. Omega 2 would be equal to R by 2L plus or minus square root of R by 2L the whole square, R by 2L the whole square plus 1 over LC. Now as we know that omega 2 is always positive is always positive. Therefore, omega 2 would now be equal to r by 2l plus square root of r by 2l the whole square plus 1 over LC plus 1 over LC. Therefore, F2 would be equal to 1 over 2 pi, because omega 2 is nothing but 1 over 2 pi F2. Therefore, F2 would be equal to 1 over 2 pi multiplied by r by 2l plus square root of r by 2l the whole square plus 1 over LC. So this is the equation for the frequency F2. So these are the two equations that we derived for the cutoff frequencies or after power frequencies, whatever we can say, that the name that I have told you earlier. Now if I try to derive about the bandwidth is now equal to F2 minus F1. So we know that F2 is nothing but 1 over 2 pi multiplied by r by 2l plus square root of r by 2l the whole square plus 1 over LC. This is F2 minus of 1 over 2 pi into minus r by 2l plus square root of r by 2l the whole square plus 1 over LC. This is F1. Okay, this is F1 and this is F2. So this is F2 and this is F1. Therefore, when I subtract that, I will see that this and this term will get cancelled. Therefore, I will be left out with 1 by 2 pi r by 2l plus r by 2l. R by 2l plus r by 2l, which would be equal to 1 by 2 pi into 2r by 2l. Therefore, bandwidth is equal to r by 2 pi l. So this is another formula which we can use for bandwidth. R by 2 pi l would now be the bandwidth. Okay, now at resonance we know that at resonance the quality factor Q equals XLR by R, where XLR is nothing but 2 pi FR into L by R, right? So XLR is nothing but omega into LR, right? Omega R into L, not omega R into LR, omega R into L is what XLR. So I would say omega R is 2 pi FR into L by R. So this can be written as quality factor equals, I'll keep FR on the numerator and I'll take that 2 pi L to the denominator of R by 2 pi L. I can write in this way. Anyway, this 2 pi L it goes and multiplies by FR. I can write this in this way. So therefore now quality factor is now equal to FR divided by bandwidth. Why? Because R by 2 pi L is nothing but the bandwidth which we have. So this is the another derivation for quality factor. FR divided by bandwidth. Okay. Now there is one more term here which is called as fractional bandwidth. And what is that fractional bandwidth is? Now what do we call that as fractional bandwidth is 1 over QS. Fractional bandwidth is 1 over QS. cube actually, so 1 over quality factor. Therefore 1 over quality factor would be equal to f2 minus f1 divided by fr. F2 minus f1 is bandwidth by fr. Therefore this f2 minus f1 is normally referred as fractional bandwidth. This f2 minus f1 by fr is normally referred as the fractional bandwidth. Okay, now let us derive the next equation, derivation of fr in terms of f1 and f2, or prove that the resonant frequency is equal to the square mean of the cutoff frequencies. Resonant frequency is the square mean of, which is the square root of f1 into f2. This is what, prove that the resonant frequency is equal to square root of f1 into f2. Now how to do this? So let us take the impedances of RLC circuit at f1 and f2. Let us take the impedances of RLC circuit at f1 and f2. So at f1, z1 would be equal to square root of r square plus xc minus xl. Therefore xc1 minus xl1 is what the impedance at the at the frequency f1, whereas z2 is the impedance at frequency f2, which can be written as r square plus xl2 minus xc2 the whole square. Okay, so this is xl is greater than xc is what at f2 we see, xc is greater than xl is what at f1 we see. But we know that at resonance z1 equals z2. Okay, but we know that at resonance z1 equals z2. Therefore square root of r square plus xc1 minus xl1 the whole square would be equal to square root of r square plus xl2 minus xc2 the whole square. Now here square root gets cancelled, then r square gets cancelled, so finally we are left out with xc1 x minus xl1 the whole square equals xl2 minus xc2 the whole square. Therefore xc1 minus xl1 equals xl2 minus xc2. This is the final term that we normally get. So now what we do is we'll substitute for these reactances. So we know that xc1 is 1 by omega 1 into c, xl1 is omega 1 into L. This is omega 2 into L minus 1 over omega 2 into C. So now what we'll do, we'll take the LCM here. So I'll get 1 minus omega 1 square LC divided by omega 1C, which is equal to omega 2 square LC minus 1 by omega 2 times C. Or else we'll try to separate L term and C term in a separate manner. So we'll try to write 1 over omega 1C plus 1 over omega 2C, which is equal to omega 2L plus omega 1L. This can also be written in this equation. Okay, so this need not to be written here, so let us erase that. Therefore we'll just take 1 over C common. I'll get omega 2 plus omega 1 divided by omega 1 omega 2 equals L common, so I get omega 1 plus omega 2. Okay, now in both the cases we see omega 1 plus omega 2, omega 1 plus omega 2 would cancel. So therefore 1 over C into 1 over omega 1 omega 2 equals L. Therefore we see that omega 1 into omega 2 would be equal to 1 over LC. So we know that omega 1 and omega 2 can be written as 2 pi f1 into 2 pi f2 equals 1 over LC. So I'll say f1 f2 is equal to 1 over 2 pi the whole square into LC. Now we know that resonant frequency formula what we have derived earlier is fr equals 1 over 2 pi root LC. So therefore if I say fr square, then I would say 1 over 2 pi square into LC. Therefore this 1 over 2 pi square into LC can be replaced by fr square. Therefore I will get fr square equals f1 into f2. Therefore fr is equal to square root of f1 into f2. So this is the equation for the resonant frequency in terms of the cutoff frequency f1 and f2. So this is what we have in series resonant circuit. So in series resonant circuit, this is what we come across the equations. Okay, so we have seen FR equals root of F1 into F2 derivation in the discussion. Now we'll see the variation of VR, VL and VC with respect to the frequency. Okay, VR, VL, VC with respect to the frequency that we come across. So here, what we have written here is what VC, VL and VR curve that you can see here. So this is the curve which you can see. Now what the curve that you can see here is, this is the VR curve, this is the VL curve and this is VC curve. So this is the point where we see that VC max, the voltage of across the capacitor, this is the voltage across the capacitor, this VC max, okay, this is the maximum peak value of the voltage across the capacitor, that would be equal to voltage VL max, inductive voltage, maximum inductive voltage. Now the frequency at which the maximum capacitor voltage appears would be FC max, and the frequency at which the voltage across the inductor will be maximum will be at which the frequency is maximum, so that is called as FL max. When these both are normally when these both are equal or the curve meets, when this both curve meets at a point, that point is called as resonant frequency. That point is where the resonant frequency comes into picture. Now this is your E, and I would say this is the IM current. Okay, so this is the voltage current and this would be voltage VC, voltage of inductor and the current curve that you see, which varies in terms of frequencies that you can see. Now what we do, we'll try to derive for this maximum frequency at which voltage across the capacitor is maximum. We'll also derive the equation for the FL max, where FL max is the frequency at which the voltage across the inductance is maximum. Okay, so we'll see that now. Expression for FC max and FL max. So here, what is FC max? So FC max is the frequency at which Vc max occurs. Vc max occurs. So therefore, we say Vc is equal to I into Xc, which is equal to I divided by omega c. I divided by omega c. We know that I is equal to E by Z. Therefore, Vc would be equal to E by Z into 1 over omega c. So which is equal to, we know that Z is square root of R square plus XL minus XC the whole square. Whereas FC max will be appearing when XC is greater than XL. When XC is greater than XL, we will see FC max. Means the resonant, the FC max occurs earlier to FR when XC is greater than XL. Therefore, we will say E by, now Z will be equal to square root of R square plus XC minus XL the whole square. The reason is XC will be greater than XL because FC max appears before FR. This multiplied by 1 over omega c. So therefore, if I square both sides, so I get Vc square would be equal to E square by R square plus Xc minus XL the whole square into 1 over omega square c square. This is the equation we get. So therefore, Vc square would be equal to E square divided by, if I multiply this, omega square c square R square plus omega square c square into Xc minus XL the whole square. So this is my Vc square. So which is equal to E square divided by omega square c square R square plus omega square c square into Xc minus XL the whole square can be written as Xc square plus XL square minus 2 XL. So Xc square is nothing but 1 over omega square c square. XL square is omega square L square minus 2 times 1 over omega c into omega L. Therefore omega, so you will be getting 1 over omega square c square plus omega square L square minus 2 times L by C. Minus 2 times L by C, which is equal to E square by omega square c square R square plus this omega square c square get multiplied with this, so it is 1 plus omega to the power of 4 c square L square minus 2 times L omega square c. 2 times L omega square c. Therefore, I would write this now as E square by omega square c square R square plus 1 square plus omega square L into c the whole square minus 2 LC omega square. So if you see this, a square plus b square minus 2ab, therefore I can easily write this as E square by omega square c square R square plus omega square LC minus 1 the whole square. Omega square LC minus 1 the whole square. Now this is what Vc square is. This is what Vc square. Now Vc will be maximum when dVc by d omega equals 0. So voltage will be maximum when you differentiate voltage in terms of omega and equate that to 0. That is what the condition for maximum voltage that we need to find. Therefore, dvc square by d omega would be equal to, so we know that d by dt of u by v is nothing but v into d by dt of u minus u into d by dt of v divided by v square. Therefore, that formula if you apply, you will get omega square c square. This is u, this whole thing is u. Therefore, when you differentiate e square in terms of omega, you get 0. 0 into anything is 0 minus e square into, if you differentiate this in terms of omega, I will be getting 2 into omega square c square, 2 into omega, you are differentiating omega in, so omega square would be 2 omega c square r square plus 2 into omega square lc minus 1 into 2 times omega lc whole thing divided by omega square c square r square plus omega square lc minus 1 the whole square, and this is equal to 0. Now if I multiply this denominator with this, it becomes 0. Therefore, I can easily say that e square into 2 omega square c square, 2 omega into c square, 2 omega into c square r square plus 2 into omega square lc minus 1 into 2 omega into 2 omega lc equals 0. As e is not equal to 0, therefore I say 2 omega c square r square plus 2 into omega square lc minus 1 into 2 times omega lc equals 0. So in this entire term, I can take 2 omega c common. I will get c into r square plus 2 omega square l square c minus 2 L, which is equal to 0. So this is what I get. So here, as 2 omega c cannot be 0, therefore c into r square plus 2 omega square l square c minus 2l is equal to 0. Therefore 2 omega square l square c equals 2l minus c into r square. So omega square equals 2l minus c r square by 2 times l square c. So omega square would be equal to 1 over l into c minus r square by 2 times l square. Therefore omega is equal to square root of 1 over lc minus r square by 2l square, where this would be omega max, because we found for this omega has been derived when the voltage Vc is differentiated in terms of omega and equated to 0, and we arrived with this omega, and that omega would be omega max. Therefore Fc max, this is omega c max, therefore Fc max would be equal to 1 over 2 pi square root of 1 over lc minus r square by 2l square. So this is the derivation for Fc max. Now if I try to derive for FL max, now we know that, so for FL max, okay, we know that VL equals I into XL, same thing. So now we'll write I is E by Z into XL. Now at this point of FL max, FL max, XL will be greater than XC. Therefore Z now becomes E divided by square root of R square plus xl minus xc the whole square into xl into xl. Therefore I can easily write this as e omega l divided by square root of r square plus xl minus xc the whole square. So if I square on both sides, I'll get VL square equals E square omega square L square divided by square root of R, sorry, not square root of, just R square plus omega L minus 1 over omega C the whole square. So if I solve this, at the end I'll be getting VL square would be equal to E square omega to the power of 4 L square C square divided by omega square C square R square plus omega square LC minus 1 the whole square. Now you differentiate to find out to find FL max. To have VL max. So to get VL max, we differentiate VL in terms of omega and then we equate to 0. Therefore, dVL square by d omega would now be equal to omega square C square R square plus omega square LC minus 1 the whole square multiplied by 4 omega cube E square L square C square minus E square omega to the power of 4 L square C square into 2 omega C square R square plus 2 into omega square LC minus 1 into 2 omega LC whole thing divided by this denominator square omega square C square R square plus omega square LC minus 1 the whole square, this whole thing square. This is how we differentiate and then we finally equate that to 0. Now once this is equal to 0, this will be multiplied with 0 and you get 0. Now finally what you do is you try to solve this entire expression to end up getting, finally we will be getting 4 into omega square C square R square plus omega square LC minus 1 the whole square minus omega into 2 omega C square R square plus 4 omega cube L square C square minus 4 omega LC equals 0. Therefore, we will be getting 2 omega square C square R square minus 4 omega square LC plus 4 equals 0. This is the final expression that we get. Or we can say 4 omega square LC minus 2 omega square C square R square minus 4 or equals 4. We can say equals 4. So therefore 2 omega square LC minus omega square C square R square equals to, therefore omega square would be equal to 2 divided by 2 LC minus C square R square. Therefore omega would be equal to this 2, if I take it to the denominator, what will I get? LC minus C square R square by 2. Therefore omega now would be equal to 1 over square root of LC minus C square R square by 2, and this is nothing but FL max, which will be equal to 1 over 2 pi multiplied by 1 over square root of LC minus C square R square by 2. So this is the derivation for the FL max where the voltage across the inductor is maximum at this frequency. So with this derivation, we'll end up the discussion of series resonance derivations. So we have derived bandwidth, we have derived quality factor, we have derived resonant frequency, we have derived selectivity, we have derived cutoff frequencies F1 and F2, we have derived the resonant frequency in terms of cutoff frequencies where Fr equals square root of F1 into Fr. Now we have derived FC max and FL max where the voltage across the capacitor is maximum at FC max, where voltage across the inductor is maximum at FL max. So this would be the major derivations that we can see in the exam that you might face in series resonance circuits. So in my next video, we'll see how parallel resonant circuit works. Thank you.